Hey, how are you? Thank you. Did you? What kind of cake? There's one answer. It's carrot cake. That's it. There's one answer. There's no him and a hawing.
That's the only cake that you like?
No, but that's the only one that I'll eat on my birthday.
Do you feel old at 50?
I mean, I would say physically I do, yeah. Come on.
Happy milestone.
Thank you.
Just your general impressions of yesterday, how that went, and what you're hoping to see today.
These practices are like a game. We've said that. You know, there's ups and downs. We hit some plays. They hit some plays. You know, there's an intermission, and again, there's a break with special teams, and then you know, usually a 2-minute situation at the end. So, you know, we were able to make a play at the 2-minute situation, and you know, kind of the same thing defensively. They hit some plays. We were able to have some good plays, and again, just looking for some consistency. And I think what they do defensively is a great challenge for us. You know, to come up here without any real practice or any look and be able to, you know, have some good plays. And again, some plays that, you know, we have to improve on. But I think it's a good start.
Like, how good of an education on the fly is that for the offensive line to
Yeah, I mean, it's for everybody, right? It's for the quarterback to be able to communicate and get us in the right protection, communicate and go from there, but execute, right? And I think the big thing is, you know, once you communicate, we have to execute and the fundamentals and, you know, make corrections quickly and go from there.
How do you think Drake did yesterday handling?
I thought he did well. I thought he, you know, it's easy to go into blender when you're seeing a bunch of this stuff and kind of scrambling and turning one, you know, less than favorable play into a, you know, a real shitstorm. So I didn't see that. I thought he was able to process and we didn't execute all the time, but I didn't see any panic from him. I thought he was able to communicate and get the things that he wanted, and then hit some plays because of it. You know, when we blocked him, we were able to make some plays, and then we'll just have to try to see what happens today and continue to go from there.
A talented player. How did Will Campbell do yesterday in that matchup?
We had some good plays and had some plays where he got beat inside, and these are going to happen to young offensive linemen. So, you know, we're not going to sit and evaluate every practice. I'll let you guys do that, and you know, we'll go from there and just keep trying to improve.
Mike, we saw Terrell Williams upstairs during the preseason opener. What led to that decision, and do you see him being upstairs or downstairs?
Well, there's a lot of positives to being upstairs, to being able to see things and being able to call the game from there. You know, just trying to get a gauge on what's best. And you know, some coaches, you know, some play callers like to do it from the field. Some really like it from upstairs. And so, you know, Terrell's going to probably stay upstairs this week and see how that goes, and you know, continue to work. And again, that was a good operation that we were able to go against with Washington and the no huddle stuff. And you know, that was a good first test in preseason. The rain's going to bail me out. You got no more questions?
Mike, you talk about protecting from inside out in the past. With Will in particular, is that like a repeat thing you've seen from him? You know, the
Well, it's come up with all of them. I don't think that's just, you know, to signal him out. We have to be firm in the middle, and we have to stay inside out, and the quarterback has to transfer up into the pocket. So those are all things that have to go hand in hand. We've talked about it's hard to block edge rushers if, you know, you give them a three-way go, which is inside over the top of you or around the edge, and then we have to force them around the edge, and the quarterback has to transfer up into the pocket. And in order to do that, you have to be firm in the middle of the pocket. So all those things have to come together, and when they do, it looks pretty good. And then when there's breakdowns in those, or we're not helping the guy next to us in pass rush games, or you know, we don't get open fast enough, you know, there's one thing after another.
Mike, yesterday you talked about Kyle Duggar, Jalen Hawkins, Craig Woodson. What has he shown you at the safety position?
Well, he keeps, I think, getting better. I think he keeps learning each day. Some of the different techniques that maybe he didn't, you know, use as much in Cal. I've seen him tackle. I think the special team stuff was good. Throwing himself in there into the fire on some of the special team stuff was good to see. So continue to see where he's at just from his physicality and, you know, kind of go from there.
Mike, what have you liked about your
red zone offense to date this summer? And besides touchdowns, what are you hoping to see from that today?
Just knowing, no, let's say, unforced errors, going backwards in the red zone. If you have a play where there's a penalty or you lose yardage, the percentage that ends in a touchdown really decreases drastically. So we have to, every yard matters down there. A 3-yard gain is still a positive play, and we have to be able to do that and get the ball out quickly. There has to be some precision to what you're doing in the red zone. The timing is quicker, and the windows are much tighter.
Comments yesterday about how he's not sure about his readiness for week 1.
Did you really believe that, Phil? I mean, you're a smart guy. I don't know where you went to school. It wasn't Ohio State, but do you really believe that? Do you really believe that, Phil? Or are you just trying to bait me into something?
I'm not baiting you into anything. He did say he wasn't sure he'd be ready for week 1. Is there any doubt in your mind?
I don't know the context in which he said it, but you'd have to help me. I mean, he's been out here almost every day. I'm excited to where he's at, and we'll see when week 1 comes. But he's going to practice today. Hopefully he helps us in the red zone, but we can't predict the future about week 1. I just know he's going to be out there today, and he works hard, and he cares, which are 2 important things.
Mike, speaking of context and Steph Diggs, Todd Downing had a quote about Steph the other day. I'm wondering if you could add some context. So the big thing with him is
I'll do my best. I'll try to let Todd speak for himself, but I'll try to help you the best I can. What do you got?
The big thing with him is understanding that you can't confuse results with the process. So if there's a day he doesn't have a whole bunch of production, that doesn't mean he didn't do his job and get open. It sounds like that has been an issue with him.
I don't think that it has. I thought that, again, there's days where the ball doesn't find you. There's one football, there's 5 eligible receivers. The quarterback decides where he wants to go with the ball. No different than Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is working extremely hard. Ball hasn't really found him. I mean, he's been open. There's been separation. I'm not sure which day Todd said that, but the other day in the red zone, I thought that Stefon factored and looked good and keep getting better. So I don't think that that's going to be always the case, right? As far as there's Terrell mentioned this. Terrell Williams said this one time when, you can make the play without making a tackle, right? And that was something that you have to teach defensive linemen is when they start trying to make a bunch of tackles, maybe they start hurting some of the people behind them and the fits and everything else because they're trying to make a tackle, where there's ways to do their job and really contribute to the defense without ever getting a stat. And those plays will come. Just make the ones that you're supposed to make. And I really equate that to really every position. But, you asked about receiver. And then again, everybody wants to catch the ball and everybody wants to score touchdowns. And those will come and that'll happen. And maybe on that particular day in which Todd said that, there wasn't a ton of production from that practice day. I'm not really sure when he said that. But there's other ways to be successful and do your job and help us win. That's the most important thing.
Two final questions. Do you view them as competing for the number 2 job, or do you kind of view their spots because one's a veteran, one's a rookie, that they'll kind of solidify?
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh is the backup right now. Not that couldn't change. Ben's working hard, and we'll see. Again, we're always trying to strengthen the roster each and every day. And but Josh is in there. Josh just has to be more consistent. Had a unfortunate, interception, in 2-minute drill and throw it into Robber. And, ball placement has to be better and just the timing and all these things that we work on. So he's getting the same looks that Drake's getting, and it's not easy, but that's not an excuse. I'm not using that as an excuse. Just saying, we have to take care of football.
Would there be any consideration last question, Kyle Duggar potentially to safety, kind of like Marte Mapu, just to get him more opportunities to get on the field?
You said move him to safety.
I'm sorry, linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, we would consider anything to try to help the football team and help the player. That's everything we want to try to do is help every player earn a role and build a football team. Thank you. I hope that helped, Greg. I don't know what the context was.